Everyone, and welcome to Whiteside today to give you insight on what the journey is all about. We meet on Monday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much, all of the Periscope people that will be joining, and for the Blab. I want to thank you for being able to join in us today into what we're going to be speaking about. We will be speaking about devoting time diligently. This is the topic for today. And what I want you to know is that the journey is here every Monday, and we meet at 8 o'clock. And we also allow ourselves to interact with each other. So if you have questions, if you have different comments, we want you to know that we want to answer them for you. So you want to make sure that when you're tuning in, you're ready to ask any questions that you would like to ask, or that you're able to also give us insight on some of your comments. I think it's very important that we understand that your comments mean a lot to us, so that we will know what we need to do to give you the answers that you're looking for. The journey is a 90-day process that's allowing people to fulfill their journey of their lives with their purpose. It doesn't have to be just in ministry, but it's also available for people who have businesses, corporations, individuals who just need guidance to where they need to go and what they need to do with their lives. It is very important that you understand that while you're here on earth, you're here for a purpose. And you may not be a person who loves to do something that someone else is doing because you automatically don't fit into that category. But we want to find something that's going to help you elevate the things that is in you, produce for you the things that are necessary. The amount of people that are going to be blessed by the journey and that are already blessed by the journey are people that really are serious about something they want to do with their lives, and they want to improve, and not just necessarily by saying that I'm improving myself by changing just my career or anything like that, but they're literally improving as self-improvements, and they're also allowing themselves to become productive with what they're doing. So today's topic is coming out of chapter 13. If you want to be involved, you can reach me at KemleyWhiteside.com. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Periscope, and I'm also on YouTube. And you can find me in those different avenues of social media. But the book can be found on Amazon, and the book is also able to be purchased on my website at KemleyWhiteside.com. The book is actually on an international tour that previously ended. So a lot of people from all over the world, like Italy, the UK, Canada, they have actually gotten access to this book, and they're able to transform their lives with it, because that's what we're doing with the actual journey and with the Accepted, Secure, and Significant book that I released last year. Chapter 13 speaks about being symbolic, and it's on page 88 that I took out the information of what we're going to talk about today, which is devoting time diligently. We're going to go right in it, and we're not going to be long. We're going to try our very best to just break it down so that you can sleep on it and dwell on it and figure out what you want to do with this information. Becoming an entrepreneur requires a lot of attention and time. Some want to have it all without devoting diligently to what is needed to achieve their goals. The drive that some have is a symbol that they are ready to go all the way without delays. This means that when you're ready to officially invest the time and resources, there should be no excuses as to why you can't progress forward. Taking a symbolic view of success means having determination, no matter how many doors have been closed. If someone has offered to help and then decided that they were unable to help, you should not give up and then place blame for your failed dreams on that one person. People represent what you want them to, and your brand is what you make of it. The symbolic way of determining if someone can handle representing you is if they can achieve the little things. If they cannot handle the little things, it is impossible to take on bigger projects. I want to definitely try to give you a breakdown on what it means to be diligent. Diligently means having or showing care and consciousness in one's work or duties. So mind you, when you're diligent about something, that means you're conscious about it. When you're diligent about it, that means that you care and you're creatively showing that you're pursuing it and that you're going really hard at it. So your diligence requires consciousness. Your diligence requires that you put yourself in a place where you're studying, you're grasping information, you're diligently seeking outlets of how you're going to accomplish something. So that means that even if you are being consistent, it does not mean you're actually producing. Being consistent means that you're diligently seeking after something, but be very careful when you're being consistent about something and how diligently is affecting what you're doing, because it's either going to move forward or it's not going to produce fruits. There's some things that we do consistently and they're great things. Consistency is a good thing, but if you're not producing fruits, if you're not producing something out of that, there's a problem. So don't get it twisted that because you're being consistent with something that you're actually producing something out of that. And this is exactly why it's important that we show ourselves approved unto God. The fact that we're diligently seeking after things, doing things, and wanting things does not necessarily mean we're going to produce something from that. It is important that you see the product of what you're doing. If you're doing something that is not acquiring the things that you want to accomplish, you must take action and being conscious. Having or showing care and consciousness in one's work or duties. That's what diligently means. So we have to take note. We have to take into account some of these little things that we see on a day-to-day basis that I think most of us are not necessarily paying close attention to. And I'm bringing this to your attention because of the things that the Spirit of God has allowed me to see in the atmosphere. We are going hard at about a lot of things. You know, sometimes we start a project, even if it's doing your housework, and that particular project that you assign yourself to say, I am going to paint my house this summer. And then at the end of the day, you have accomplished doing something with that house in the painting process, but you diligently saw something, you actually effectively did it and it worked. That means you produced something. That means something happened. That means you actually accomplished something because you went after it and you executed it. You diligently sought after it. Your conscience was in the right place and you did it right. The downside to some of the diligence that we're doing is if, like, for example, I'm doing the journeys every Monday. So far, faithfully, I have been able to do this journey on every single Monday. However, if I see that this journey process that I'm doing is not effectively being diligent in my conscience, that I am producing something, because I'm being consistent doesn't mean I'm producing. The producing part is going to come when I see people establishing their goals, when I see people establishing their dreams, when I'm seeing people that are going after something that they're actually producing, whether it's starting a ministry, whether it's starting a business, whether it's going to school, whether it's getting a new job. And because of that consistency of the journey, if I'm able to see that it's working, that means I diligently, consciously have accomplished something. Amen. So don't get confused with being consistent about something and assuming that you're actually producing fruits. That's not everybody. And some of us are getting mixed up with the average things that are going on. Everybody is posting something, putting something, pushing a product, doing this, doing that. But they're doing all that, but you're not necessarily seeing if they're actually producing fruits from that. So don't get hype about the hype, basically. Don't get hype about what you see or what you hear or what you think is going to be. Be conscious. That's what this means. Diligently means showing care and consciousness. Use wisdom when you're seeing things that God is showing you. It's just, for example, and I'm going to make this example about the virgins. I was just speaking about the wise virgins last week at a conference. And it's exactly what we have to pay attention to. There were 5 virgins who were foolish and 5 virgins who were wise. Those foolish virgins did not carry that extra oil. They went to a store to try to get that oil at the last minute because they knew they couldn't get it from the wise virgins. Now, by the time they came back, even though they got the oil, they weren't able to meet the bridegroom. They weren't able to enter to that chambers. They were not able to actually get to that visitation and that encounter. So they actually missed out on that fruit. They missed out on that blessing. They missed out on that encounter. They missed out on that visitation. Yes, they did get the extra oil, but it was too late. They weren't prepared to understand that they needed to be diligent. They needed to be conscious that if they needed something, they should have prepared for it in advance. This is why we have to pay attention to signs of the things that we're doing, preparing ourselves wisely. When I plan to do the journey, I don't plan to do the journey on the Mondays that I'm doing the journey. It's already prepared. The assignment and the different discussions and the different things that's going on is already in advance being prepared. Now, if I want to go over it and add a little bit of here and there, I have that opportunity because I diligently, with my consciousness, understood what I needed to do in advance. Amen. So I'm hoping you're really understanding what I'm trying to say here. What I want you to know is that when you devote your time diligently, it does not necessarily mean you're producing something or any kind of fruits or any productive thing is coming out of it. It's supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be that you are diligently seeking and devoted time in something because you want to see the product of it. It's supposed to be that you're actually taking action on something because you're going very hard at it. But when you see the sign that it's not necessarily helping impact what you want to produce, that's when you begin to use consciousness and understand that God is not making you become a fool. He does not make out of you anything that's going to fail. So you have to use wisdom, understanding, and comprehension into what your assignment is going to be and whether you're seeing the fruits coming out of it. So be mindful that if you're preparing yourself for something bigger, something greater, something better, try to see how you are actually establishing that diligence and how long you're going to prepare for that. So if you decided to use 30 days to lose weight and you see that you're not losing weight in 30 days, you're diligently going to the gym, you're constantly assigning yourself to different things that you're doing. Maybe what you're doing is not going to work. In that 30 days, you realize it's not working. So the outcome or the way that you have to go about it now is turning it around and find another resource or another source of seeing the product of that. Don't get discouraged because you're not seeing results right away. Give yourself a timeline. When you devote time with something diligently, give yourself a timeline to say to yourself, I'm going to devote 90 days, 60 days, 120 days accomplishing this one goal, and I'm going to do as best possible to make it happen. Now, if I realize that the 120 days came and I'm not necessarily seeing it happen, then you have to shift. What I mean by shifting is that God doesn't want us to be sitting in a place where we're actually just becoming dormant. We're becoming dormant. We're becoming like basically saying, I don't know if this is really going to work for me. God, you showed me, but you're not necessarily giving me an answer. That's not the way God works. When he gives you an assignment of something, he gives you a vision of something that you're going after. He's going to give it to you very plain. He's going to lay it out for you. But he's also wanting you to do the work of understanding how hard you have to get all of the details together. So when you are an entrepreneur or when you have a business or when you have something that you are diligently seeking, I want you to take the time to understand what time are you devoting to it, how long you're going to devote to it, and whether it's really working for you. And if it's not working in your favor, it's no reason to say that you can't let it go. It's okay to let go of certain things that are not working in your favor. Just like you change, your children's diaper. Sometimes when they get a rash, you know that if that rash is there with that specific diaper, you have to change it. It's the same concept that we have to use with life. If that child is getting a rash from that diaper for so long, at some point you're going to have to say, I got to change this diaper. I have to find a different brand. I have to do something different here because it's not working for my child. That's how you're supposed to take your life, in that angle, in that perspective, to allow yourself to give yourself time to see something operate in a way that if it's not necessarily working, that you find a way to say, I'm going to do it differently. And if you don't have a way, find someone who can help you get to that place, because most of us are not gifted in so many things. And I can tell you, I'm gifted in a lot of things, but there's some things I'm not gifted in. So I will rather seek the help that I need so that I can accomplish what I need, because I can't do it by myself. If you're one of those people who is constantly assuming that if you're going hard at things and you're constantly working this hard and you're so eager to do this, but you're not necessarily producing, then it's time to ask yourself if all that diligence and all that time that you've spent doing all this and going hard at it is actually really working for you. So today I'm going to also touch on something about others. Like, some of us are a burden to other people. And I want to say this in love. If you are one of those people who are not helping other people achieve their goals, achieve their dreams, and all you do is bring to the plate a bunch of mess, in a sense of saying, I'm bringing you stuff to do because I need this accomplished, but you're not adding to the pot with that person as co-partnership, then you have cost yourself a lot of burden that was unnecessary. Be very careful when you're dealing with people that are so anxious to do so much work, but they really don't do the work. You understand it? Some people are very anxious that want to do the work. They're anxious. They will give you so much anxiousness to the raindrop. They'll show so much excitement. They'll give you the greatest talk. They'll show you all this great stuff. They want to be like, yes, put me in. I'm there. I want to do this. And they produce nothing. Those kind of people are a burden. They become a burden. They become people that are coming into your life to distract your accomplished goals. They're not necessarily really diligently working. They appear to be that way because they have an anxiousness ability, and that is a spirit. So when you see those kind of spirits approaching you, you have to be conscious enough to say, you know what, God, I see this person being diligent, but they're not producing. And I'm seeing myself doing the work more than they are, or I'm seeing myself going after them more than they're coming after me. Something is not working here. There's something going on here that's not in my favor. Drop it. Drop them like a hot potato. It's okay to do it. Don't get caught up in the midst of saying you don't want to hurt people's feelings, because people's feelings can never be hurt if they never cared. Let me say that again. People's feelings can really never be hurt if they never cared. When someone doesn't really care, they really don't get hurt. So you have to be conscious one more time of how diligently you go after what you desire and need for your life. Despite of what people are doing, you need to be aware. It's like an alert mode. Let me be aware, because people come to me, and I'm saying this out of experience. They come to me very excited about kingdom work and how they want to be involved and how they want to do X, Y, and Z. And it's so much excitement in them that you really believe that they really want to do it. And you're sitting back just saying, okay, well, I'm going to see if this is going to work. Let me give you this. Let me give you that. Let's work together. At the end of the day, all that anxiousness went down the drain. They're still not producing. So be careful with that. Be careful about the situations of, mishandling things. There are so many people that mishandle things on your behalf that a lot of times can put you in a position or in a place of discomfort. They didn't diligently go after certain things that should have been handled. So you have to also understand that devotion is not just praying to God, spending time and saying, I'm devoting this time for prayer. I'm going to sit here for a half hour, an hour. Devotion means consistency, giving yourself some time, giving yourself that covenant of saying, I'm committing to something. So when you devote time diligently, you have signed up for a covenant. You're signing up for something that means I am committing myself to this. I am eagerly going to commit. I am going to seek and I will find. I will not settle. But you have to devote that time in an interesting way that would allow you to know about the snakes, know about the people that cause you burdens, know about the people that abuse you, know about the people that persecute you. All of these different things, when you are devoting yourself to God, you will get the signs from the Lord and you will devote things in a different way. Your time is valuable. Everything that you do is valuable. So when you're in a devotional moment, it's not just saying I'm devotionally putting prayer in my life, but I'm also devoting my time in my life where I need to diligently see who is or who is not. I have to consciously be aware of who is going to be a part or who's not going to be a part. Your time is just as valuable as the other person that is wanting to be a part of something with you. So be considerate, mindful, diligently seeing, not taking it lightly. Don't assume everybody that's doing kingdom work is actually producing. I'm not saying this to downgrade anyone at all, because we all want to do kingdom work, but be very mindful of kingdom work. Kingdom work supposed to show excellency. Kingdom work supposed to show striving diligently, producing diligently. So when you are aligning yourself with something, be mindful that everything that is kingdom work is not necessarily producing kingdom work stuff. So one of the things that I want to talk to you about besides that is giving you some scriptures. Proverbs 21:5, the plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty. This is in the NIV, but the NLT version says good planning and hard work lead to prosperity, but hasty shortcuts lead to poverty. I want to focus on the shortcuts. You can't do diligent work and do shortcuts. It doesn't work that way. Focus and you have to be focused, but you also have to understand shortcuts are not always good. A lot of times we want to take shortcuts with different things we want to do. And some of those shortcuts can cause you big damage. It can cause you a tremendous damage. You will pay a heavy price for those shortcuts. Try your very best to accomplish the things that you have to accomplish the way that it's supposed to be done. Timely, in the way that God ordained it. Whether you're going to spend 10 days doing it and you thought it will only take 5 days, don't try to take shortcuts. Some of these shortcuts can cost you a lifetime of a headache. And you have to understand that when God is giving you something, He's not going to give it to you in a shortcut process. He's going to give it to you in a good process, in a process that whether it's going to be lengthy, whether it's going to be long, whether it's going to be even a shorter time frame, it's not going to be in a shortcut process. It's still going to be in a good timeliness. So be very mindful that everything that you're assigned to do, everything you try to do, if you try to take shortcuts, it can really impact your ministry. It can impact everything that you'll do, and you will cause yourself to really become very burdened by the situation. So I need you to understand that everything that you are going to do, it must be done in a way that you can allow yourself to be productive in all of these things and not necessarily look at it in a way that is going to cause you struggles. I'm going to leave you with also 1 Thessalonians 2:9. That it reads, don't you remember, dear brothers and sisters, how hard we work among you? Night and day we toil to earn a living so that we will not be burdened to any of you as we preach God's good news to you. So we're working night and day. We're diligently doing a lot of things. God is trying to give us insight on things that most of the time we really don't take into consideration. But take this time today to understand that when you're devoting your time diligently, you must understand that you can't take shortcuts. It's not going to work in the kingdom. You also have to understand the process of what you're going to deal with and how you're going to deal with it. And you must be very careful with people that cause you a lot of burdens, because when the burdens come in, it comes in as a distraction. And you don't want distraction to play a part into the things that you have assigned to be done, because God does not like that. And God does not even want that for your life. I do pray that you understand how symbolic you are. I pray that you understand how important you are, how you are in the kingdom, the things that God has for you, that you must understand that when you're devoting your time for this, for whatever it is God has in your life to do, understand that that devotion is a covenant, it's a commitment. And if you don't commit to it and you want to take shortcuts, you're not going to fulfill the assignment. So I want you to know that today, my goal is for you to be enlightened, inspired, and understand your accountability. We're here to help you with your accountability process so that you can become productive. But be mindful that being consistent does not mean that you're actually productive. Your consistency has got to produce some fruits, and you must actually show it. That's what diligence is all about. So I pray tonight's blessing upon you. Please keep me in your prayers. I need it, and I appreciate all of you that always connect with me and always connect with the ministry that I have, that God has assigned me to do. And I pray God's blessing upon you, and I hope and pray that tonight you are empowered to understand how to work your diligency, how to allow that devotion to come into play in your life, and how you're going to work it. What are you producing is the key word to all of this today. I thank you. I love you with the love of Christ, and I pray God's blessing upon you, and hopefully we'll meet again next week, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'll see you next time. God bless you and have a blessed and wonderful day. Thank you so much, woman of God. I love you all so much. Because of you, thank you.